I watched a TED Talk by David Miranda. He talked about how intellectual property can help with the economic growth. Basically, um, Miranda explained that our region originally wasn't exactly like it was today. It said it rose from a providence standpoint thanks to two types of ways that are worked out. There is the railway system and the waterway system. Basically, these two ways have actually helped um, us survive because with waterways, this can transfer water from anywhere. This can be anything from our sinks or our toilets that can lead out to a sewer system. And as for railways, it can help transport people and things to different locations. This benefit actually helped because the economy at this point was actually becoming a little bit more industrialized. This meant that basically people were relying a lot more um, on manufacturers and other types of properties like trains as well as future automobiles. Basically, regions can benefit from the wealth of our resources, and this can come from many sort of values. One of the big things that came to one of the big values that actually came to me was the education values. As we know, education values are the values that we learn throughout our time in the school system. These are values that we all should learn because we're technically in school for 13 years, and then we get to decide whether we want to continue school for our future career or go right into our future career immediately. This shows that whatever we learn, whether it's from we graduate from college or from high school, we can add those values to helping out with regions. A product can actually go to market under other intellectual properties. This means that um, products don't really exactly need to be sold under just one thing. It can be sold under a lot of different things. This actually came new to me, especially because I didn't exactly knew how much intellectual property actually is essential to the world. The big thing that Miranda pulled out were patents. He actually pointed out that patents are very essential to regions because of how much technology that they possess. Miranda had also explained a lot throughout the TED Talk that patents are very essential. If anything, they're more like something that we need a lot more of in our world today. Basically, the regions have sustained economic growth a lot. It's also especially from 1980 to 2010. As we kind of know, throughout those 3 decades, our world has basically changed a lot. Things got more industrialized, more smarter, more technologically advanced, and we as people have had to adapt to that because it was how we would understand how the world around us would work. The big thing, though, that technology had helped out were two locations. The first one was Austin, Texas, and the other one was Silicon Valley. Though at the time when they were, though at the time they weren't exactly successful, it wasn't until the 90s that they were being successful and they thrived. As most of us know, Silicon Valley today is one of the most recognized places, as well as technological places out there in the world. Basically, even though Austin, even though that Austin and Silicon Valley thrived, the rest of the world stayed the same. It basically meant that technology during that time just remained the same for them, even though Silicon Valley and Austin, Texas were evolving. Miranda had also opened molecular research to take a compound to help with patents because basically later on this would actually help out for a multi-million dollar company that would be sold for. Uh, a big way that Miranda had said that the world around us has helped is through clean and green energy. It says it's actually helped a lot of the world around us. A big way that the clean and green energy has been New York. And this actually makes a lot of sense because even though New York is one of the nicest places to go to, I wouldn't say it's actually the cleanliness because there's many people that are there, and it's very busy, as well as the fact that it is also a place with a lot of people who I'm assuming probably don't really use the greatest health options. But this also expanded my mind about clean green energy. To myself, I've actually never really heard of it at all. Well, and I'm pretty sure it sounded a lot like something that wouldn't really happen, or something that would happen but wouldn't exactly be successful, or even something that someone would actually be interested in at all. There's also metro public companies have had the highest percentage of clean and green energy. These are basically companies that are open to the public and are actually succeeding well in business. I never really once, like I kind of said before, I never really thought of clean green energy as something that would actually help out our economy or something that would be successful. I thought it'd be something kind of like something no one would really have interest in at all. It was also kind of reported that the city of Albany was actually having the fifth highest growing clean and green energy. He, eventually, the Albany wasn't then soon alone. The rest of the country actually started to catch up and started doing the clean green energy. And this actually started all the rest of the major cities as well as around the country to actually do the exact same thing. Miranda also pointed out a bunch of regions that were doing well, especially with exports that were actually bringing in more than $1 billion. The top five that he actually brought up were Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, and Albany. These are actually, to be honest, these locations aren't really that surprising to me because um, all of them, aside from Albany, are huge major cities out in the world. Many people like to visit it, many people live there, and the cities are always busy. See, I know out of those places I've only been to 3 of the 5. From my own experiences, I know that they have been busy a lot, and they really do attract a lot of tourism, which is why I think it's understandable that they need more exports than probably anyone else out there in the world. Basically, the patents have actually helped regions help make companies gain revenue. It basically is understandable because companies need their revenue in order to stay in business, but it's also because without getting help, or being in a good location, businesses can't really thrive and be successful. We know that some places don't always have the same luck. They're usually struggling a lot. And I feel like since COVID's been around, they've even had to be even tougher about it, even for companies to typically gain revenue. Miranda basically closed by saying it's that creativity that will allow us to grow. I'd actually have to agree with Miranda on this because basically we as people have to rely a lot on our own um, processes as well as our own thoughts to succeed in our world today. Even though we know that's challenging, a lot of us know that we can make it through. Basically, from reading the TED Talk, it expanded a lot about my mind, a lot about intellectual property. It also expanded a lot of my mind on doing stuff about the types of energy that are out there, as well as the different places of the world that typically rely on it. It actually now makes a lot more sense, especially for people, especially for companies, since they want to succeed, as well as for cities that get a lot of attention. It now will help me understand exactly how much more important all this means to the world.